Hello and welcome everybody, it's Sam Rolfe here from TrollTrader.com, one of the members from the team. I'm here to talk to you about my RPTQ this last weekend that's just gone. And I want to talk about what I did well and what I didn't do well. I want to put it in a sort of vlog or blog? Vlog, we'll go with vlog. Because I just feel like it's easy to portray my feelings and I can give a debt list. And I think that's just a bit more personal, you know? So, without further ado, let's get off this screen. It's going to be the cleanest image change of my life. Right, boom. Here's the deck. Right, so the deck I played at the weekend was Mono Black Zombies. And as you can see, my list is pretty far from what would be a stock list. I'm playing a few weird choices. I'm playing Ammo Eternal, I'm playing 3 of the 4 drops, the Gontis and the Kalitas. I'm not playing as many Leland as much, which most of us are playing. And I'm playing 2 Worthful Abbeys, and only 2 Infinite Deadlands. And I'm going to talk to you why I made those decisions. Right, so, I decided to make the 2 Infinite Deadlands. I'll start there. Because there's a lot of mono red when I started testing the list, I didn't want to draw multiple copies, because they make the Relentless Death just so much worse at grinding. So I decided eventually, I'm just going to cut these Infinite, I'm just going to cut them, because they're just not good. But I wanted some copies, because they are relatively free against upper decks, you know? They're also a good way to trigger Fatal Push in the mirror, as it's pretty hard for you to get your creatures to die against their opposing Kalitases. So having one Infinite Deadlands in the mirror is super helpful. So, I'm going to talk to you about how I got to playing Ammo Eternal. Well, when I was testing on Magic Online a few weeks before, there was a lot of blue-red gift of the Godfarer, and there was a lot of control decks. And in these matchups, you always cut your Lord of the Accursed because it's just such a do-nothing card. And also, in the Zombies mirror, your decks sort of transform into Jund decks, as all your cards just 1-for-1 each other. So I should have wanted a threat that didn't suck if I drew it. So the Lord of the Accursed was the obvious, like, yeah, I'll cut that. So I wanted an actual threat for this matchup, so I decided to put the Ammo Eternal. And it was really good against blue-red and blue-white approach, so it was actually a fine card, but unfortunately, for this RPTQ, it was not the correct choice, and I get to what the correct choice was for the weekend. And then we get to the Gonti and the Kalitas. So originally I was playing 3 copies of Kalitas, because I was playing against a lot of mono red, and then I was like, well, actually I'm losing to this teamer deck a little bit, I want to play some sort of grindy 4-drop, that also is powerful enough that it just does something in the late game. So Gonti was the... well, sometimes it finds Glorybringer, so it's good enough. And then I started cutting Liliana's Mastery because I had cut the Lord of the Accursed, and I figured I wanted to play 24 lands anyway. So I ended up playing the extra 4-drop. And that's how I got to that position. So, how did my RPTQ go? Well, I went for 3. It's not a very good record, but I got some boosters. I think I came 22nd. But out of a field of about 80, it's not too impressive, but I actually don't know how big the field was. I didn't really pay attention. I was just concentrating on my games. So we'll look at my round 1. My round 1, I'm expecting the metagame to be not a lot of team. I didn't expect lots of team. I expected lots of black, green, zombies, and mono red, because those are paper usually adapts slower than Magic Online. So that's what I expected, and I wasn't too wrong. There was a lot of... I thought it was going to be a lot of black-green, but there was more black-green than zombies in the tournament, I think. I didn't really... I just saw black-green was doing better, so I just assumed it was probably more zombies. But anyway, round 1, play against black-green Constrictor. How we drew it up. Brilliant matchup. We have so many removal spells, our threats are great. He got a bit mana screwed in game 1, he only drew forests, so he couldn't really cast any of his black spells. And eventually when I think he drew it on the last turn before he died, but he was just dead then, so it didn't really matter. So, round 1. I'm thinking this is a pretty good start for the event. The event looks... I didn't really get to check the metagame that much, like in between games, but I had a friend who was wrote it all down for me. So he comes me with this piece of paper and it has everyone's list, and I look around and I'm like, teamer, all over this list. I'm like, alright. Give me a pretty rough tournament. I have a good plan against teamer. I have a Transgressors and the Obdixilises. But I really haven't tested this matchup as much as I should have done. And I even during the week was going to test to jam matches against my friend, but ended up falling through because I think I had to go and do something during the week, so didn't get to do it. So I imagine if I had actually played those matches, I would have had a much better percent in the tournament, which is very weird. So anyway, I'm playing against round 2. I sit down against this guy. I know he's on team except my friend's written down his list. Well, not his list, but like what deck he's on. I lose. It's a couple of close games, but in game 2, I get a bit flooded. So I end up just losing. But something I do want to point out is, in one of those games, he cast a tune and then put a land in his hand and said go, and then I like start to untap or whatever, and then my opponent's like, oh, I wanted to play this land, and it's turn 2. I'm like, oh well, you did say go. I ended up calling a judge. Did roll in my favour, but him not getting to play the land. And then it got appealed. The head judge said, oh, he gets to play the land. And I thought that was a really weird ruling. I just want to point that out because that was actually something I just couldn't believe because it meant to be adhering to competitive rules level enforcement. But anyway, moving on from that. Round 3, I play against Teamer again. Excuse me, I had to cough. Alright, we're back. I play against Teamer again. This time, I'm thinking the matchup, like, after that last loss, my opponent, I think my opponent played 100% optimally in round 2, but, like, there's a few decisions that I would have made differently on his part, but he ended up beating me anyway. And in round 3, my opponent I end up gaunting my opponent, and I get a Chandra Flamecaller. And I took game 1 because I had drawn, he'd mulligan, I drew a bunch of just like the nut zombie draw, removal spell for his guy, I had Crypt Breaker going, I had Colossus making lots of guys. It was really just crushing ahead. And then in round 3, game 2, I take his Chandra, he loses to his Chandra, I end up wrapping his Will of Virtuosos, and just making some elementals and killing him. Really, it was a sick game. Really was interesting, a lot of decisions to make. Not at all. Complete lies. Round 4. Yeah, round 4, I play against another black-green deck. Exactly how we drew it up, except in one game, game 1, I killed him with a Westfall Abbey, which is really cool, but he drew Ishkana and he had a Liliana on 2. So, he ended up stabilizing on about 4 life, and I'm like, damn. I actually am just gonna lose to this Ishkana because he's gonna keep making spiders. But he didn't realize, and he even didn't realize that he could -2 and bring back his Ishkana because he kept just jumping into spiders. But eventually I draw a Gonti, and I have 9 lands in play. So I Gonti him, look at his top cards, I'm like, ooh, Walking Ballista. I'm just I look at the cards and I tank for ages, make my decision, put it under, and he's like, he can't really have a read on what I've taken. And then obviously I untap and Walking Ballista, which is really cool. I couldn't have won that game because he just had me locked out, but yeah, it was pretty cool game. And then round 5, I play against Teamer again. Some pretty close games, but eventually there's a few key decisions that I made wrong, but I don't think they would have really impacted the game. But you should always look back and try and play as optimally as you can. But apart from that, it wasn't really the best of games. Then I lose to Teamer again in round 6. And then round 7 I play against I can't remember what it's called. Blue-White Monument. And those games weren't actually that close, even though I was playing the Amateur Eternals, because that card really isn't good against them. But it was actually really funny that he had all these Dust Adorns in his hand that just didn't do anything, because obviously I'm not playing his Lord of the Curse, but I am playing the Amateur Eternals, but he didn't know that. But game 2 and 3, he didn't drop a Monument, so I ended up beating him. So, what went wrong? What went right with this deck? Well, I had a good zombies list, I think, for the tournament. Not for the tournament, but for the metagame, I thought I was going to play against lots of red, lots of black-green. And I did crush those matchups, so what I expected to beat, I did beat. And that is the most important thing. What was wrong is I did not have a good read in the metagame. I did not expect it all to be Teamer. If I would have known that, I should have probably built my zombies list to go over with all the Lords and all the Liliana's Mastery, because those are the cards that are actually good against Teamer, but I cut them all from my deck, so it was really hard for me to win those matchups. And I actually had somebody asking me, why did you bring in Liliana against me when I was playing Teamer? And I'm like, well, because I don't have the Lord of Curse, I actually can't race the Thopters, so I have to bring Liliana to pressure it, or have Liliana as a way to actually just kill him. But also he was on the Scarab God, so I figured Liliana the Last Hope was a good way of beating the Scarab God. If, well, what I mean is, they play less Glorybringer type effects, or less hasty damage effects. So Liliana going to ultimate is more of a threat, was my theory, but that didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. So, if I should have tested during the week before more. If I had more time on my hands, I think I would have probably moved away from zombies for the event, or I would have built my list to be more stock and just played more of the powerful cards, because those are the cards that actually, well, the Lords and the Liliana's Mastery are the cards that help you beat Teamer. As without them, I don't think you actually can that easily, but it makes you much worse against black-green and stuff like that. So overall, I think the tournament went pretty well. I just needed to get the metagame right, and if I played the list the week before, I think I would have been in good shape, because lots of mono red, lots of black green, lots of zombies there, so that's what I should have done. But anyways, thank you for watching. I really appreciate you listening to me rant about my RPTQ experience, and hopefully see you in the next one. Alright, thank you very much.